Hi everyone, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs, and I'm here with a part 2 of our tassels, but we're not really going to be making the tassels so much as we're going to be doing the beaded part that I didn't get to in the part 1 that I had abruptly had to stop because we just went way over time. I thought today we could kind of go over just kind of how to add beads to your tassel or make it as a separate element because they can really add a lot to it. But this is the one we made the other day, and it's a very basic tassel, and I'm going to show you a few ways that you can dress it up a little if you want to. Not necessarily do the tassel again. I might if we have time, but and then we made a little charm bracelet that, of course, you could add more to this, but it's a nice little dangly to put on there. But I thought what I would do is just kind of make, let's see, I think I have one like that here. This is where I just added some beads along with the charm, okay? And then you have a tassel here too. So you had all three, but you know, obviously you don't have to do all that. This one is just some prayer beads. It's very simple with a really simple little tassel. This is just, I remember I was telling you in my first video with the tassels that you could just take these bulb pins rather than opening up all of the little jump rings and putting your things on there. This just has a few. It doesn't have very many. Just a little bit of lace and, you know, just some beads. And so it can be as simple as that, or, you know, more elaborate. This tassel is one that I made that was on the little golden book that I got asked the question on. And this is just very simple. There's really nothing to this but lace and ribbon. And then we wrapped it around just like we did in the one we made and hooked it on the top with a bulb pin, okay? So, you know, this one, it looks elaborate, but it really isn't. It's just the same process. The only difference is I had this one charm, you know, or actually I guess at some point this was part of a necklace or something. And all I did is just add that to this to give it just a little bit more, you know, pizzazz. So, you know, when it hangs, it will hang, you know, like that. And that's all I did to that. I just, you know, there's nothing more to it. You know, I don't think it necessarily needed more, but it all depends on your journal and, you know, what you're going to use it for. Let's see. This one went on this journal, okay? So you can see it went well with the journal. So you want to, you know, it's elaborate, and it's long, and it has this big piece on it, but it went with the journal, okay? So you want to kind of, you know, gear it to your journal, okay? The little golden book that I used this on, it would have been way too much to do something like that with you know, the little golden book, okay? This was done on a very earthy, zen kind of dragonfly journal, and it would have been too much to, you know, add a lot of things to it, and it depends on what you add on it. So it's just a matter of, I think, you know, what would look good on that journal. So here, I'm going to just put this back so you can kind of see. But honestly, I love putting them on because I tend to just sometimes, I don't know, just overkill. But I try and, you know, hold back a little bit when I can. But this was not a hold back situation here. So, but this is done exactly the same way as with the one that we did. Let me move that here. I don't know why that's there. Okay. Anyway, what I thought I would do today is just kind of do something, maybe a couple of them like this. Like, see, this is just some beads that has a little dangly on the end. And that kind of, you know, it gives it a little character. And then this is just a very plain one. But when you add it with your other pieces, you know, with your actual lace and ribbon, and then your you also have a charm on there too, that it just really adds a lot of character to it. So, and you know, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck there. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and they're super easy to make. And I have a lot of stuff because I used to make jewelry all the time, and so I just have a lot, and I probably should have gotten rid of it, and now I'm glad I didn't because I use it for that. And I also have taken apart a lot of necklaces and things. I have, let's see, necklaces, I have old earrings, I have all kinds of stuff. And this isn't even nearly anything, but let me show you just some stuff that I have that, you know, you need to look at things in a different way. And I like to use that kind of stuff. Like that was part of a desk thing that I had. And then I think this is an earring. I'll show you. Oh, there's several of them in here. So that's just part of an earring. This is part of an earring. Here's some other stuff that kind of tangled together. I don't know what this is. This is, again, part of a necklace that is falling. Yeah, so it's part of a it's all tangled up. Oh, I think it's, one of them has a magnet on it, so it's not liking that. But I mean, you really have to think a little outside the box. If you see some old jewelry or something, like this stuff's so tangled, it's hard to show you guys. But for instance, let me take this off of here. Like this at one time was part of a bracelet, but I mean, all these pieces on their own are great, okay? And then like the chain, if you watched my other video, we used just a small piece of chain to do the little dangle thing on. So there's a lot that you could do with something like that. This, I don't know, this is part of like an old necklace or something, and part of it's broken or whatever, but you could take part of the pieces off and use this, and it could be interesting. This is like part of an old necklace, but if you look at it, and you take these pieces apart, these could be really cool. You could, you know, have these dangling, or they could be dangled on pages or whatever. You know, there's just a lot like this. I mean, this is part of an earring, okay, that, I don't know, y'all probably had with the one earring thing or whatever, or stuff you're not wearing or whatever, but something that you might not normally wear anymore. It's like this is part of a old necklace that you could probably use, okay? And not just that, what I was going to do today, if I can figure out where I put it, is make something a little bit more rustic. Well, this is an old necklace that I don't wear, but I like the beads in it. I think they're really neat. And this is part of an old necklace I've already taken apart for a little bit. But anyway, I was going to add some beads to a dangle, and then I'm going to do another one that's kind of all monotone whites and creams and just clear. So just to give you an idea. So anyway, this is an old necklace, and I thought what I would do with this is I'm going to cut this, and partly there's a lot of good pieces in this necklace, so you may want to have like a bowl or something. Do I have any of my little bowls? Nope, I don't. Of course not. Why don't I take this? I'm going to take this and use it. you know, to put it in. And of course I missed, but that way you're not, you know, wasting, and you can reuse this stuff and recycle, because that's kind of what junk journals are supposed to be about, you know. And I try and, you know, reuse a lot of stuff on mine. I don't, you know, I'm not going to say I don't ever buy anything, but anyway, I like to do this simply because it gives things new life. And then here, I'm going to cut this clasp part here, trying to do it to where it doesn't go everywhere. Anyway, so just all you do is cut apart your necklace. If it is a something with a chain or something, you can just use your jewelry pliers and then do that. But usually it's pretty easy to get them apart. And I have a tendency to do that. I have a pile of old jewelry that I think I'm going to probably try and do something. So even this tassel here, okay, I can cut that off, and maybe I want to use this, okay? So I'm going to hang on to that. I might use it for something later. And I'll take these little beads and put them in here just for right now. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to even use this part of the necklace to, this is the wire, because I don't need a very long wire. This is about the size I need, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut that and use it. Might as well, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to go ahead and cut this part too, because I may use it. These pieces, the clasp and stuff, I might use those at a later date. Okay, so anyway, I've got a couple long pieces of wire here, and you want to use jewelry wire, and I like using something. This one's a 45 millimeter. It's a little thicker, you know, but I, for this purpose, want to do that just so that you can actually see what I'm doing. So you're going to have some jewelry wire. You can buy that at a craft store, or you can buy it online. It's not super expensive, and it'll last you quite a while. You do need certain things. I have bought these little kits online, and they don't cost that much, and they have like a lifetime supply of, you know, closures and crimp beads and stuff like that. Also, I buy these little spacer beads that you can use in between your beads, and it always makes them look a little fancier. Not necessary though. And they're relatively cheap, and you get so much usually that it'll last you a really long time. I mean, I have the bigger boxes just because, like I told you, I did a lot of jewelry making. So anyway, I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to start making something with it. But the first thing I want to do, and I always make sure these are closed, because guys, let me tell you, you don't want this stuff going everywhere, because it'll be a mess. It'll be just a big mess. I've had it happen. I do have a magnet just for that reason. And I'm going to take one of these little teeny tiny crimp beads. It's so tiny, I don't even know if you guys can see that. And what I do with that is I will take that and put it at the very end. Oh, there's two smushed together, so let me get another. That's how tiny they are. Get another one here that is not all messed up. Okay, anyway, so I will take this, and I will take it and take my pliers and just kind of smush it. So what that does, it's like it's a stopper to keep my beads from falling down. So we're going to do that. Oop, what happened? It keeps moving. Hold on. I've got to get this to quit moving around. All right, so I'm going to smush that. Okay, and there is a special tool that you can use, but I am not using that right at this moment. Okay, so anyway, that is going to stop my beads from going down. And what I usually do with that is I will take a very small seed bead, which is like one of these right here, or one even smaller actually, but I don't know, I didn't get those out. But you would take a small bead, like, well, that one doesn't have a good hole in it. Every time I try and show you guys something. Take a very small bead. You've got your crimper bead on the end. I don't know if you can see that. And you're just going to thread your little seed bead down there because you just need a stopper. You need something that's going to stop the other beads. And see how that just made it stop at the end? Okay, so I usually at that point, I have super glue or jewelry glue or whatever kind of glue you want to use. I have a ton of these little nail glue things because I bought them for my nails. I actually don't like it, but I use these because I have them. And I will just take a tiny bit of glue, a tiny bit, and just glue that at the bottom. And it will glue very, it's super glue, so it's going to glue pretty quickly. Just let that sit for a second. And then that way, it will seal it. And you can just take that and cut it at the very end, and you will not really see that crimper bead. Get right to the very end. Okay, so that's on there good. You can't see anything really but the little tiny bead. And then you're just going to decide what you want to put on this necklace. Now I do want to use these beads. I really like those because we're going to do kind of a natural type mermaid thing. I do have some of these little seashells, and there's starfish and these. I want to put a few of those in there. There's all different kinds. I probably want to put a few different ones in there. And these are just beads, really. Let's see how many different ones they have. Okay, all right. So I think that's it as far as the different kinds they have. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a few of these other little beads. I'm going to put those in there. I'm going to start by putting a couple of these. Maybe, let's see. Let's put like 3 of them. I'm going to take some of these out. I think what I'm going to do is take the bigger ones out and then move those here so I can get to these. There we go. And I usually have my little bowls and trays out here to help me sort, but that's okay. This will work just fine. I'm going to put some of these in here so I can get to them, okay? And what I'm going to do is I am just going to take beads and just start stringing what I think I'm going to like, okay? And I do have some other beads here that I think I'm going to put in there with it. How many of these do I have? I don't have a lot of these kind of orangey ones. I may put some of those in there. I'm not sure yet. Have not made up my mind. I've got a few of these. And this is all from like an old necklace or something that I had. And I'm just trying to reuse it and get some pieces in there that might look good. I don't know if those will look good. We'll see. We shall see. Just maybe give it a little bit of color. Just to kind of break it up a little. All right, I think that's enough to start with, and then we'll just see how it goes, okay? So I'm going to just use this to make a dangly thing, and I think I'm going to just take one of these and put that in there. And then I'm going to take, oh, maybe a couple more of these. All right. So I've got a few of these in there. And then I'm going to take maybe one of my turquoisey, I don't know what these would be called, turquoise and brown, and put that in there. And the reason you can't put like one of your bigger beads at the bottom is usually they have a bigger hole in them and they'll go right over that seed bead. So you have to kind of make sure that your beads are going to work with that. So every 2 of these little beads, I'm putting another bead. And let's see, I think maybe I'll put like one of these and see how that goes. Just to add a little extra color in there. But you get the idea. We're just filling this up and it'll just take a little bit. It shouldn't take too long. The more small beads you have in there, then the longer it's going to take. I've got some more beads over here too. Let me see what I got here. Let's see, we will go, should we go 2? Yeah, we'll go 2. So I'm going to take another one of these. And you know, you don't have to do it evenly, like counting how many. You just can do how you think it will look good. Well, that's interesting. I can't find the hole in there. I'm sure it's there. I just can't see it. Let's see if I can see it. I can see it in that one. My goodness. Huh. Oh, I see. It's in the end. It goes right here. There we go. Okay, so I got that. And so we're going to do 2 more. And I'm just trying to do something. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to make a piece of jewelry. I'm trying to make a dangle for a junk journal. So it probably would look different than, you know, something that you would make for, you know, obviously a necklace. But you can see this is what we're doing. And that's going to go on a little mermaid one. And I think that'll look kind of cool. So anyway, and like I said, I mix up my metals and things. I don't worry about them being the same. I think it just depends, because sometimes, you know, I am, you know, a little bit more concerned about that. Now see, I have this big one here. See, that's kind of cool, I think. You know what? Actually, I'm going to put that one on the end. I think I'm going to put that on the end. So I'll wait. Let's see, what other one do I have that would look good? Do I have any more over here? I don't really have that many more orange ones, so, or I don't know what this coral color, so I'm going to have to mix that up a little. Anyway, this is done from two old necklaces that I had. This is not new beads. I think these beads were new, but I don't even remember. I didn't buy them recently. I've had them, so I've had them and never used them. So, and I'm going to put, did I do that right? Yeah, okay. So we're going to do 2 more of these. And you know, how long you make it is really just, you know, what your preference is. So let's see, I'm trying to remember. So now we got to do one of the flat ones. Okay, so then we do 2 more. We'll do a little coral one. And you guys get it. And one thing too, when I was telling you to use the little bit thicker wire, this is the 45 millimeter, is that it's very easy to thread your beads, and there's still, I mean, it's still got a lot of play in there. So I like using it. So it's up to, you know, I mean, you'll figure out what you like, but don't be afraid of doing this because it is extremely easy. It really is. There's nothing really, I haven't done anything really earth-shattering. I took a little bead, I squeezed it with a plier, and then I just started stringing beads on here. So, and then the top part is even easier. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do on this. It's going to be a little different than what we did before, just to kind of change it up. So we're going to do that. Let's see, we did. I have to keep looking to remember which ones I've done. I haven't done, maybe I'll try this one. I'm just having an interesting time finding where the hole is on these things, so. Okay, it goes through the middle. All right. Anyway, I like to just add little things, you know, and like I said, it just depends on the journal. I just really, now I will have to say on my little golden book journals for Christmas, and only because I think Christmas is kind of a, you know, a blingy time of year, if that's a word, but only because of that, I did add some charms on a, and I don't think I did not add, you know, beads. Okay, let me see. That might be getting close to long enough. We've got, I think I'm going to put one more of these on there at the top. And then I think I've gotten all this different shells on, right? Yep, I did. So I'm not going to worry about that. Oh, I put two the same. That's okay. They'll be all right. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll put this on. And just add a couple more beads to the top. And I'm going to put one of these on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a clasp on here, or not a clasp, but a jump ring. And you need to do that. I'm going to put a couple. I've got this right here. This is my last big bead. Okay, so I've done that. This is my little dangly that I'm going to have off the side with the little seashells on it, and then my different colors. Okay, that kind of go with my book. And then I'm going to take like two of these, because that's how I'm kind of doing it. I'm doing two, and then I'm going to take one extra bead. All right. Where did I put my, oh, here they go. To move stuff around, so I'm sorry. I have to watch not bringing it too close to me, because it's kind of close-up work and it's hard to do it at the distance where I'm at. I'm taking my little teeny tiny seed bead and I'm going to put it in there. This is after I've done 3 of these other little small beads, okay? And it's not, well, not my seed bead, my crimp bead, I'm sorry. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's just basically just a teeny tiny little metal bead. And it's super, super small. And the idea is so that you can't see it. Okay? And what I'm going to do with that, and this is where it gets a little tricky, is I'm going to take my jump ring. Okay? I think I'm going to get a different color one. Hold on. Where did it go? Okay. I'm taking my jump ring, which is this round thing, and it's closed, and I'm putting it on here, okay? And actually, you don't have to do that. You could add, well, let me do the jump ring later, because that might, well, okay. Let me do that later. That'll make it easier if we do that. You're going to take your seed bead, okay? And what you're trying to do is leave just a tiny little loop at the end to put that jump ring on, okay? And there's 2 ways you can do it. You can put the jump ring on and then do this. And all I'm doing is I've got it, I don't know if there's any way you guys can see that. It's going through there, and I've just looped it back through. And I'm going to make this a small, well, I probably should put let me do it that way, because it really is the right way to do it. Okay. I was going to show you kind of a cheater way, but you're going to take your jump ring, your seed bead is here, okay? You're going to take your jump ring and you're going to put it on there like that. And then you've got your, not your seed bead, your crimp bead, your jump ring, and here's your wire. And you're just going to thread it back through there. Have to excuse me, guys, because I cannot do it out this far that well. Okay. And so then what I've done is I've got this, if you look at it, this is on the end, it's gone through, and I'm just going to pull on this like that. You see what I'm doing? I'm pulling on that. I hope it's focusing. To where I'm going to get this nice and tight. And you just pull on it till you get it tight. And you don't want a lot of slack in there. Okay? And then after you get it tight, see, it's like tight up there, and here's your jump ring. And there's hardly, what you've done is your wire has basically gone around there. Okay? Then you're going to smush that crimp bead down. Okay? And that is going to hold your jump ring in place. Okay? And then what I do is I take this piece right here, the extra piece of string, okay? And I tug on it to make sure it's nice and tight. So I have a nice tight bond. And I don't have a lot of slack in my string, which I have a little more than I want here, but that's okay. Kind of hard to do this out there like that. I'm going to move this down a little bit. Okay, make sure that's nice and tight. Okay, and then again, I'm going to cut this piece right here, this extra piece, probably only about an inch to about an inch. Okay, you need a little bit to work with. And then I take this and I tuck it in the other bead that's right on top, the very top one that I did, okay? And that is only to kind of not have the wire sticking out the top. I'm gonna have to bring this closer to me, so I cannot do it at that distance, so I'm gonna kind of have to show you what I'm doing as I get it in there. So I'm making it go through the top, the very top bead. And there we go. I just can't, my eyes are just not good enough to see from that distance. That's my problem. Okay. And then all I do is after you get it through that top bead, I just pull it. I pull that wire. Oh, don't go through. Well, I think I just came out again. Excuse me, guys. I want to do it under the camera, but it's so hard for me to see it that far away. Okay, there. I'm getting it in there. Here we go. All right, so now we got it. Okay, so it's just going through the top, and then we're going to cut it off at the second one. So that way what happens is, well, I got to cut it a little shorter. We've covered our bead, okay? And I usually, again, so you're going to have a little thingy on top right there, little loop that goes around your jump ring. And that's what it's going to hang from, okay? And so, let me move this up a little. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some glue in here. And I put a little glue on the end, And that's just to kind of secure it and make sure it's not going anywhere. So you don't have to put very much, just a tiny bit. That just secures your knot. And I put that on there. There we go. I push it in there as far as I can get it. Okay. So now that we've done that, all you're going to do, where did that tassel go that we're going to use? Okay. Where's the one that we made? Here it is. Okay, so this is the one that we made in our other video. And we made our real simple tassel that we put on top. Okay. We made our little charm that we had, and we have our little charms on there. But I wanted to add just a little bit more color and add a little bit more interest. So I will take this, you've got your jump ring on top, and then I will just take another one of my pins, I think I have it, I can't pick it up. Okay. I have another one of my bulb pins. I'm just going to open it up, and I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go just like that. Okay. And that is how easy that, I mean, that was really easy, guys, right? But when you add it, you're just going to add it just like you did the other ones. Just going to go right on the top. And then remember, if you don't want to use these clips, I just put an eyelet in the top of the journal, and you can add any that stuff on that way. Another thing, and I'll show you some other ways to do this in a minute. But anyway, that has just added all this extra interest to this tassel. See, you've got the charm bracelet, and now you've got some beads, and see how cool that looks? And that was so easy. I made it look harder than it was, but that's only because I'm trying to do it out here, and in order for me to see what I'm doing, I kind of have to pull it toward me, and I know that does not work well because it's not on camera. But anyway, that is a very easy way to do that, okay? I'm going to do the other one real quick just to kind of show you again, and then maybe I can explain it better. So I'm going to take my same wire that I had, my recycled wire, and then I'm going to take, my hands are cramping up again. I have no idea why. It never happens until I'm on camera. I'm going to take another one of these crimp beads. Let me try a brighter color. Maybe you guys can see it better. They're so tiny. Have to excuse me for a minute. My hand's just acting kind of weird. I don't know. I don't normally have that big of a problem with that. Okay, so I'm going to take this crimp bead, and I'm going to just put it in my wire here. Okay. Now on this one, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Okay. I am going to put a smaller jump ring. Get this stuff out of the way. If I can find a smaller one, maybe I'll just do one on this. I have some little bit smaller ones in here. Well, they're not closed yet. I don't want to do it like that. Okay. I'm going to put, oh, here's some. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take this little jump ring here. And it's not super small. It's actually kind of big. And I'm going to do what we did before. And I'm going to do this first. So I've got my jump ring, and then I've got my crimp bead. I'm going to take that, right, and my wire's here, and I'm going to thread it through my crimp bead. All right, we can do this anytime now. And what I'm doing is I'm doing it opposite of what I did before. This is what we did at the end. I'm going to do this in the beginning, and that actually makes it easier in the end, because then all you have to do is put a crimp bead on the end. So we're putting our jump ring, we've got a little loop. We're going to take our crimp bead, and this is an easier way to do what we did before. Okay, so now what I've done, I'm taking this crimp bead and I just pushed it through there, right? So that's all I did, is I made a little loop so I could put my jump ring on there, and then I'm gonna smush it down, okay? And you don't want to go too tight to where it can't move. And then I've got a little bit left on here like that, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my beads on, and I'm going to start beading them that way rather than the way that I did it before, because then, you know, you're at the end and you're trying not to leave too much, and that's a lot harder way to do it. So we're going to do the exact same thing. You know what, actually, I think I'm going to do a different necklace this time. I'm going to move this stuff over just to kind of change it up. We're not going to do any more mermaid stuff. Okay, so this time I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something maybe with some pearls. I'm going to take this pearl, I'm going to put it on the bottom. And remember, we have this going through here, so we want to go ahead and add that in there. And that just kind of covers up that bottom part, okay? So let's do that. And I don't know, maybe put a bigger one maybe. I'm going to put that on there. And then I think I want to put, let's see, what other, do we want to put a gray one on there? Or a clear one? I've got these clear ones. I think I might use some of these. I don't know if I want to do that yet, though. Maybe I'll put the, let's see how big these are. There's some big ones in there, too, huh? Let's see. I just grabbed these. I didn't really pay attention to what I was grabbing. And again, these came from necklaces that I had. So, I just kind of took them apart. So you can see we're just adding over that, and then that actually made it a little bit easier. And now I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these big ones, these little crystal beads. I'm going to put that on there like that. And then I maybe take I don't know if I have enough gray ones to do this. I'll take a few just to change it up a little. Put a gray one in there. Okay, and then I'm going to do a medium size one. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do a smaller one. And I have really tiny ones in there too I could put in there, but I don't think I'm going to, because I'm going to try and keep this simple. So I've done that so far, okay? What do I want to put in there? Kind of want to put something else in there. You know what? I guess I could have done these. That would have been pretty, huh? All right, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take this off, okay? Oops, I've got beads going everywhere now. So I have these three right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add something called a spacer bead. And let's see, am I going to do it in silver or am I going to do it in gold? I'm trying to remember what color is in the journal. And what these do is that this will add interest to your bead. See, I'm putting that, it goes on top. I don't know if I want to use that one though. That's kind of big. I think I'm going to try a different one. I think I'm going to try this one next to it. Okay, so I'm putting this on there. This should work. And all it does is it kind of caps the top of your beads. These are really good to use for dangles too. Like if you want to make it like a little dangly thing and you put those on, it really looks cool. So then I'm going to put this on here. And then I'm going to put this one on. And which way are we going? I actually want it to go the other way. Hold on. I guess I could plan this out better, but oh well. So this is just going to hug my big bead. Okay, see that? It's going to go like that. And then when I put it on the other side, I'm going to put it to where it's just hugging it. And that's what that does, is it adds a little interest to your beads, okay? Here, I need to put this back in here. It's not, I'll almost cut it maybe. Doesn't need to go that far. Okay, so then all you're doing is, this one does not want to go in there, does it? I'm going to cut it shorter. Cut it a lot shorter. There we go. Okay. So then I'm going to just continue this. I think I'm not going to do the gray then. I'm just going to keep doing the pearls. And so I hope everyone could kind of follow that. I know that it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing when stuff's so small, but I just think that adding these little things can add so much to your journal, and I don't think it's hard. I think it's kind of fun. It can be kind of relaxing. I like to, string beads when I'm like watching television or something and not really, and I have a little thing that you can lay out your beads and everything, but I don't know, on something this small, I don't know that that's really necessary. To me, it's just kind of trial and error. You're just going to put them on there, and if you don't like it and you take it off, you've only strung on 4 or 5 beads, so it's not that big a deal. So I don't know. You can do what you want, but I don't really like to put that much into it. I mean, I like it to be relaxing, and if I think too much about it, then it's not relaxing. It's kind of, and actually some of these beads, guys, are not all the same color. They're like some are a little bit more beige than others, and some are champagne, and I'm doing that on purpose because I kind of like that. I like how it's giving it a little bit more, I don't know, interest, I guess. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make this one probably about the same size as I did the other one, because it may be a little bit longer. The tassel is going to go for a journal that's pretty elaborate, and this is going to go on there with it. So I think that it's more of a shabby chic kind of look, so I think this will go well with it. So let's see here. So this isn't rocket science. You're just basically finding beads and coming up with a pattern, or you could not have a pattern, or you can make it random. A lot of times, to me, that looks even better. So is that the same size? Maybe it's one a little bit bigger. I like it just because it's an easy thing to do, and if you take apart old jewelry and stuff, you can really do this for a very, very small cost, and you certainly don't have to buy the stuff that I have to do it. In fact, a lot of old jewelry will have spacers in it and all kinds of stuff, and you just take it apart and use it. Like I said, I have all this because I made a lot of jewelry for a long time. I do a lot of different crafts. I don't do as much anymore, but I have. And so I have a lot of this already, and I'm actually excited that I'm getting to use it. I think that's why, I just love junk journaling, because I think you really get to use a lot of different things, a lot of different crafts and things that you may have done in the past. Not everyone's done everything, but it just, to me, that's what it does for me. It gives me an opportunity to, kind of play with some of the stuff that I've had. I think I saw Let me see. I think that might be good enough. I'm going to add a few more little pearls on there, and then we're gonna go ahead and finish it off. Okay. So anyway, we've done that. This is how we started. I could have put gold on there at the end. It probably would have looked better, but that's okay. That's all right. Anyway, I'm gonna put. Okay, yeah, we got to put the big one on. I saw Jessica Rapp, and she had done jewelry before, and she was, I don't remember, I can't even remember what she was making actually. Maybe it was a bead or dangles or something, or and she was kind of all excited that she was getting to use her stuff, and I just so got that. Okay, so anyway, that is what I'm going to do. Oops, don't fall. Okay, that's as long as I'm going to make it. It's a pretty long tassel, but I'm going to put that on there like that, and I'm going to end with my smaller bead. I like to have my smaller beads on the ends. So I'm going to take that, and on this one, all I'm going to do is I was going to put something on the end, and I forgot what it was. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take, I have this little heart right here. Let me get this. I have to kind of get this little wire thing off of it. It's really a clasp, and I thought what I would do is put this on the very end, just to dangle on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to take one of those little crimp beads, and I'm going to do basically the same thing that we did before at the beginning, only I'm going to loop it around and put that in first. Cannot believe my hands keep cramping up here, guys. I don't know. They don't normally ever do that. I'm dehydrated, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that there. So that's on the end. Then I'm going to put this on, okay? And I actually just could put a little. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to do my best to loop this through there. And then loop it through my very first bead. I'll try and do this up higher so you can see. So it's going through my very first bead after I get it through here. It's going to go through there. Okay? And I only do that so you're hiding the end of the wire. You don't want to pull it too tight until you get it all kind of worked out and get it kind of closer in. And this is the part where it can get slippery because this wire is kind of slippery. So let me get that down there. Get this down there. All right, so we're going to tighten it as much as we can all the way down. All right, let me see if I can get that in there good. So you're pulling on one end and holding it on the other end. It's very hard for me to do up high. Let's see if I can zoom in. Maybe I should just try and zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I'm trying to get that in there. So I'm pulling this end and I'm holding the other end, and I'm just getting it to where it can go. I'm going to see if we've got any give in there. A little bit of give, but not much. Because you want it reasonably tight, but not, you know. Okay, so that should do it right there. So then after you do that and you get it all tightened, you're going to, again, hit your crimp bead to tighten it, because that's what's going to keep it from moving. Cut the extra. Okay, so let me show you where that's at. So you've got your crimp bead right here. There's your crimp bead. Here's your end piece, and then here is your little heart that we put on the end, okay? And then I put it after you're basically making a loop, going through your crimp bead, and then you're going to go back through one bead, and that's so you don't have any little wire sticking out. And then you're going to go back in and you're going to cut your wire down pretty low so that it tucks back in. Let me get that a little bit lower, I think would be good. There we go. And then I'm going to take my little dab of glue and stick it on the crimp bead again. And I only do that as just a backup because I've had them come loose before, and this way, you don't have to worry about it. So anyway, there's our little dangly that we made, okay? We've got a little heart on the end. We've got these little spacers in there. And on this, let me see, what did I do with those thingies? Okay, I have them over here somewhere. Okay, well, maybe I won't show you that if I can't figure out where I put them. What I wanted to do on this is something, oh, here they are. I bought these, and this is actually for like a keychain or something to put on your purse. And I'm not going to use it for that. I'm going to use just the little lobster claw. And you see it looks like a lobster claw. And this is a big one. But that's okay, because what I'm going to use it for is I'm going to use it for my dangle. And to me, I just call these dangles because that's really what they are. And anyway, I can take that, and I'm just going to open up this ring right here, just like any other one that you would have. Hold it, and then open it, okay? And we already have a ring here that we put on the end. That's how we started it, okay? I'm going to put that in there, and there we go. So now I've made this dangle that I can take this and I can just clip that on along with the tassel. Let's just see. Let me just show you how that would look. Let's say for instance, like this. Like, let's say this is too long for this. It's going to be okay for my book that I'm making. But you could just clip this on here and put that in along with the rest of it. Okay, that one here, let me move it on here a little bit higher. See if I can get that through there. If you had I got that in there. But you would basically just put that on and it would dangle off of the back of your journal, okay? So that's kind of what you would do. I think I might have made this too long, huh, guys? I can always make it shorter. But that's kind of what you would do, okay? And you don't have to use that. You can use the bulb pen that we've been using. Anything else that you'd want to do. I think I'm definitely going to have to make that shorter. I think I probably have to make this, putting this on there just made it a lot longer. I'm going to have to do it to about right here. My journal's pretty big that I'm making, but not that big. Anyway, so, and I'm not sure I'm going to keep this on there, and that's not a big deal because it comes off easily. But that's just an idea of the kind of thing that you can make. I just want you guys to know how easy it is to do these. Let me get the other one off of there. And what you can add to a journal. Let me look at our time here and see where we're at. We've only got about 5 more minutes. So I think what I'm going to do, let me look real quick and see what I can come up with really quick. I had some questions about making the tassel, and I just want to make sure that, let me see if I can find one that's more, you can tell kind of more what you do. You just want to make sure, because I know I was using that the eyelash trim, so it's kind of hard to tell, but what you're doing is you're just wrapping your two vertical pieces around the top. And then because you had tied a knot, you know, all you're doing then is you're just wrapping it around, and that's pretty much it. And you're just looping something through the top. And it does not have to be a bulb pin. You could put a jump ring, you could put another piece of string, you could put another piece of string through here and tie it on. In fact, I did that on one of my journals, and it's all basically the same. I just like using the eyelash trim. I like how it looks. I just, you know, I did it in the other journal that I did, and then I just think that, you know, it just adds a kind of cool look. And of course it depends on what you're trying to do. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I just thought I'd do kind of a part 2, just kind of how to make some little beaded, I guess I call them dangly thing. I don't know, they're not really dangles though. I don't know what you would really call these guys. Jewelry to put on your journal. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me, and don't forget about Giveaway Friday. If you comment on any of my videos, and you will get put into a drawing. Basically, it can be an old video, it doesn't really matter, but I do the drawing every week, so it has to be you watched it within that week, so it would go Friday through Friday until the time of my drawing. Okay, so like if I do the drawing at 7 Central, then any comments after that go in for the next week. So anyway, it would have to be just a comment made during that, you know, calendar week, and it's 1 comment per video. And what I do is I take all of those people and I put their names in a big fish bowl, and I just draw a name out of it. And I have prizes. You can look at my my Giveaway Friday videos and kind of see the things I give out. I'm destashing. As you can see, I have a lot of stuff, and I'm more than willing to share, and I have a really cool giveaway this Friday. I keep them a surprise, and you won't know. I may occasionally, you know, let people know ahead of time, but you know, it's every Friday, and I'm going to keep doing it till I don't have any more stuff. I pay up to $10, not any more stuff, an oversupply. Let's just put it that way, because I'm need to share. Anyway, I pay up to $10 shipping. If it's over that amount, you can decide if you want to pay the difference or not. So I'll ship anywhere. It doesn't matter. So anyway, you guys, I hope that you got something out of it. I know that I'm a little kind of combobulated in how I make these, and I'm not, you know, an expert at it. But anyway, I hope that I'm trying to do it as an easiest way that I can. I'm always trying to do things in the mind frame of a beginner. So I may over-explain things, so I apologize for that. But I'm trying to think that way, you know. I do teach a lot of craft classes, and a lot of the people that do stuff, it's their first time doing it. And so I kind of go from that angle. I think I'm just so used to doing that. I don't really think I know how to do it any other way. So if you have any questions, just let me know. And I'm doing my best to go through all my comments. I had a ton this last week, so I'm working through them, and I will hopefully get through them all. I do go through them all simply because I have to add each one of them in for the drawing on Friday. So I do always go back to them. So I will try to acknowledge each and every one of them so that you can be for sure you'll be in the drawing. Okay, so take care, you guys. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you're getting some crafting in and kind of getting in the zone, and you know, not thinking about anything too serious, and just having a good time. So take care, guys.